Okay.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening for another very special edition of WOWSA Live. We're actually having a very special guest, Sue Dyson. Sue, introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. How are you? I'm Sue Dyson. I'm down here in sunny St. Lucia, the honeymoon capital of the world.
And just for us ignorant folks, where exactly is St. Lucia?
St. Lucia is actually in the southern Caribbean, so we're 4 islands north of South America.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. Now, can you see other islands around you on a clear day?
On a clear day, you can see Martinique at the north of the island and St. Vincent at the south of the island.
Got it. Got it. Well, we'll get to Martinique a little later in the show, but tell us how you got to St. Lucia.
Well, I actually got to St. Lucia because I was the operations manager for a collection agency call center. And the company I was working with was doing a partnership with a company down here to eventually take over. And they asked me to come down and help with that transition or merger. So I stayed on for my contractual period, which was about 4 years. And then I had the choice, go back to the US, because I'm originally from New Jersey, or stay in sunny St. Lucia where there's no snow, no winter, the beach, the
Yeah.
beautiful sunsets and sunrises. So I kind of decided to stay.
Great. And you've been there for how many years now?
15 years.
15 years. Okay. So you're almost a native.
Yes, yes. There's a few of my friends and comrades here. They call me American, which is the joining of American and Lucian. Lucian is what we call the locals.
Got it. Got it.
They've
And
made up a word for me.
yeah. And how did you get into ocean swimming? Were you always
Well, I grew up, of course, going in the summer to the Jersey Shore.
okay?
A little fact about myself that I'm going to put out there publicly, now everyone will know, was I have pictures from when I was a toddler, like maybe 2 years old, a year old, sitting at the beach or Matidaconk River in New Jersey.
Uh-huh.
And they have pictures of me sitting there eating like peanut butter and jelly that had fallen into the sand.
Oh,
So
so
I've always been in love with the ocean and the open water. And when I actually got into open water swimming was actually in 2017.
uh-huh.
Jacques Sico came to swim around St. Lucia
Yeah.
in a 12-stage swim. And I happened to be part of the local swimming association's executive board. And
Okay.
they wanted someone that had time to help create this swim to happen. And I kind of got roped into it. Like it wasn't my top priority at the time, but I got into it, and ever since then, it's just been all about open water swimming for me.
Wow. Well, I've actually heard about his 12-day swim around the island. How far was that? How, obviously it took him 12 days, but what did he break it up into 10-kilometer segments? What did he exactly?
So all the stages were between 10 and 12 kilometers, except for two of them. Oh, no, except for three of them. Three stages. Two stages were about 6 to 8 kilometers, and one stage was 15.
Okay.
Now, the stage that was 15, unfortunately, did not get swam. It was because of bad weather. We had bad weather that moved in. It was in July when he swam it, so that's part of hurricane season. We had a little tropical wave that was moving in, and that's kind of what deterred that particular swim. But the others, he did it. He set out his course. It distanced out approximately 121,000 kilometers.
Okay.
And that takes into consideration, like behind me, you see Pigeon Island. So he actually started on the beach behind me.
Okay.
This was his starting point, and this was his ending point. But to swim around Pigeon Island would add, because there's a man-made causeway there, that added an extra, good 5K
Got
to
it.
what would have been. So he had a couple of areas like that where we had at the south of the island, we have what we call Maria Island, and you have an open space, an open bay between Maria Island and the mainland. But because it's a nature reserve, the local authorities wanted him to go around Maria Island, which added longer distance. But all in all, it's about 110 to 115 kilometers if you went it straight.
Wow. Wow. Great. And so you dove into that literally event
Literally.
and you were hooked.
I dove into that, and I was definitely hooked. I loved being out there and learning about it and watching. He had two swimmers. One was one of his own students. Her name is Lucia Gilbert,
Okay.
and Lucia was 18 at the time. She just turned 18, and she swam all stages with her, and she's such a darling. Up to now, her mom and I stay in contact.
Oh,
She's
wow.
such a darling. She's from Martinique, of course, born and raised, and she swam the whole way. And she was one of these. He would force her to take a break. She did not want to even stop to feed or to
Wow.
take water, or she just wanted to keep going and get that each stage done. She was just.
God.
And then he had another woman that he knew. Her name was Catherine. She's from France, and she swam with him. But she was a little slower, so I was actually on the support boat that was supporting her, and she would eat like candy bars and drink Coke on her breaks. Sometimes, or have she did have water from time to time. We made her drink lots of water as well, but she definitely had a slower stroke than what Jacques and Lucia had. So um, she was always a little further behind, and she had some trouble. There's some currents down towards the south of the island, because the way the current patterns travel through from South America, and so she definitely had a little harder time fighting those.
Got it. And what attracted you to these extreme athletes? Was it their mental outlook? Was it their physical feat? What was it?
Well, I mean, in this particular case, like I said, when I first met Jacques, I was literally just asked, can I go to this meeting? They need someone there from the swimming association. No one else is available. Can you just go? And so I was doing it more as a favor for the Ministry of Youth, the director of youth and sports at the time, because she was the one that purposely asked me. And after that, I got an email from Nathaniel Waring and from Molly Nance
Okay.
about their swims, from St. Lucia to Martinique, and that became the intriguing part when I started researching about the English Channel and about Malachi and about the Cook Strait and the northern channel, and when I just started researching about the Ocean Seven, I mean, I got totally intrigued, and I said, wait a second, why swim in cold water?
Yeah.
Why swim in shark infested waters?
Yeah.
Why not come and swim 21 miles or 33K between two beautiful iconic islands and warm water?
Yeah. So it is the Caribbean equivalent of the English Channel or the Catalina Channel. That's great. And the water is about what is the water temperature, more or less?
Right now it's 83.4.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it's actually a little warmer, than we would normally have.
Mhm.
Hence why you have all those systems out
Right.
there in the
Right.
Atlantic. But it is usually between 78 and 82 most of the year.
Yeah. And so you had Molly, you had all these other people who are gradually learning about this St. Lucia channel, the Caribbean equivalent to the English channel. Did they find you on Facebook? How did they locate you?
So what happened? Molly actually wrote, to David Peterkin, who is one of the local swim coaches. She happened to find him online, and he forwarded the email to me and said, "This is your realm. You handle this." And this was just maybe 2 months after, Molly had attempted the English Channel and she was not successful. Part of the issue was, of course, the cold water. And she was looking for a channel to complete. She really wanted to complete a channel. And someone had asked, a friend of hers had actually asked her if she had ever heard of St. Lucia. So she took out the globe, literally, and started spinning it and found St. Lucia on the globe. and
Wow.
started looking, and that's how she wrote in. And so she and I connected, and we started planning her swim, which happened May of 2018.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then she was successful.
Yes,
Very
she
fun.
was
How were her conditions?
that particular day, we had average conditions, and a normal day swells of about 1.2, 1.3 meters, which is about normal. Right now, we're actually having some very calm weather in the channel. I'm talking zero point 0.8 of a meter swell, so definitely a nice time right now for a
Yeah.
swim. Winds were about between 14 and 17 miles per hour,
Okay.
which is normal. Again,
Okay.
that's about what they are almost every day. And so she had what we would consider a normal every day. It was
Got it.
nice weather, and she did a great job. 13 hours, 56 minutes.
Wow. Were you on the boat? Were you on her
Yes,
boat? Oh,
I was
great.
definitely on the boat. I was actually her independent observer. We had it ratified through
Okay.
Marathon Swimmers Federation. So I was her independent observer, and we had Captain Martin, who's great. He was her captain. We had a couple of his crew, like boat crew, and then I had some local folks who I know here that were really keen to help. One is a gentleman by the name of Wes Moses. He's now in he was here. He was part of the Peace Corps here. He's now
Okay.
in Dominica, but he also was the one who he kayaked across the channel last year.
Oh, okay.
So he did
Okay.
a solo kayaking across the channel last year.
Yeah. And is it from St. Lucia to Martinique or Martinique to St. Lucia?
No, St. Lucia to Martinique. Now, the reason we know that that is the better route is actually from Jacques Sico.
Okay.
So what happened was after Molly got in touch with me, then I also heard from a few months later, Ross Edgley had come to St. Lucia
Yeah.
with Katie and Dave, Carrie Ann, sorry,
Marianne Payne.
Carrie Ann Payne and her husband David. They'd all come to St. Lucia to the Bali Holiday, which is a fitness resort.
Yeah.
So she came to do her swim fit that she does every year, and he happened to be coming at the same time. Well, he came with her because she was his coach,
Okay.
and that's when he was attempting his great feat with the log.
Yes.
So the gentleman who was at the time the liaison between the hotel and these guests, these high celebrity athletic guests that come down, he reached out to me knowing me from other being involved in other I do a lot of charity work for I was doing especially at that time I was doing a lot of charity work for children's charities locally,
Okay.
and so he reached out to me, and because he knew I would probably know something, and he knew I was involved with the Jacques Sico swim, and this is just again maybe 4 months after. So I actually introduced Jacques Sico to Ross Edgley.
Okay.
And when Jacques was giving Ross expertise on which way to swim it and why, he went through his swim story with us.
Okay.
When Jacques Sico swam it back in 87 and 88.
Yeah.
So he originally attempted it coming from Martinique to St. Lucia. And what happened was they got so off course because the currents, he swam a good 7 hours, well, maybe 3.5 out towards Venezuela. So when you get out your map, you'll look it up. The current was taking them out towards Venezuela. So then he had to swim back. And after 19 and a half hours of swimming, that was it.
Oh,
So he told us definitely go St. Lucia, Martinique. And that's kind of how that's basically the next year he attempted St. Lucia to Martinique, made it in about 12 hours. And that's when he vowed at that point that he would come back and swim around St. Lucia.
got it. Got it. And going forward now, you have coming up this season, you have 3 additional people who are going to attempt the St. Lucia Channel. One of them is going to try a 2-way.
Yes, it's the first ever 2-way that has been attempted, that is going to be attempted. And that's Katie Blair. So Katie is coming in October, and she is looking forward to attempting the double. It's the first time it's being attempted, and I'm actually really excited. Whether we of course we will push for her to succeed, um, but no matter what, it's just a historic event either way that it's being attempted. And I can tell you, we have some colleagues in Martinique who don't think it can be done. They think that we're not going to be able to get back from the Martinique side, but we're going to attempt and we're going to see.
Okay, so she's going to start on the St. Lucia side. So she's going to
Yes.
do the quote easy
Well,
way first.
well, we have to.
Yeah. Okay.
We have to start on the St. Lucia side because we are not allowed to spend any time in Martinique.
Oh,
Technically, because of COVID, the
got
borders
it.
between the two countries are technically still closed.
Okay.
So I actually received permission from the prefecture of Martinique this morning for us to complete the swim. And we have specific guidelines on both sides. So the chief medical officer here, she has told us we're not allowed to disembark and go into Martinique at all. If we do, then when we come back to St. Lucia, we will be required to go through a PCR test as well as 14-day quarantine. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, so we
Wow.
have some stringent guidelines right now just because of COVID, but we're
Right.
making it happen. So we definitely are going to do the easy way first. And I think, speaking with my boat captains, I have two great boat captains, Will Wilson and Stanley Lucian. They are my two captains that are going to be helping, and they are out in the water all the time.
Got it.
And they both kind of agree with me. We've been looking at the current patterns, and we think we're going to have to take when you do the swim from St. Lucia, you kind of have to go up the coast of the north to the northern tip and go a little past it, and then you turn, as I say, turn into the channel. So that's the way we have seen that it's become successful. Otherwise, when you get over to the southern tip of Martinique, you actually get caught. Um, I don't know what the actual name of this. It's like the bay outside of Marin, and I call it the 5 mile current because you're swimming through that and you're pushing, but you're not going anywhere.
Really? Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
you get caught in that, you're not going anywhere. You're
Wow.
swimming against it.
Uh, and in addition to Katie, you then have two other gentlemen who will
Yes, I
attempt.
have Edward Ted. He goes by Ted Lamica,
Uh-huh.
who is a world. He completed the Ultra Ironman World Championship in Hawaii
Okay.
last December. So he's coming the second week of November. And then Chris Allshouse is coming. He's from Ohio. He's coming Thanksgiving weekend.
Wow. You got a
Now,
busy schedule.
I do. And we might have two other swims happening in December. One
Really?
of which, yes, both
Oh,
of which would be firsts.
oh, okay.
Uh,
Are you allowed to say them or not yet?
well, I can say, I'll tell you what the attempts are going to be. I won't tell you the
Okay.
swimmers yet. The first, one of them, no, I can't say the first one because I don't know. They haven't squared dates yet. One of them is going to be a 3-stage swim around St. Lucia.
Okay.
Um, and this one will, because it's 3-stage and because that one stage was missed, it will be a first.
Got it.
Because I know she will complete it. She's a swimmer that was here before. That's all
Okay.
I'm saying.
Okay.
And then the second one is going to be what we're calling one of the 3 um, swims of our triple Caribbean crown.
Ooh, what's that?
That's going to be St. Vincent to St. Lucia.
Okay.
It is about 26 miles.
Okay.
It's a little longer, and the current is very, very swift. So if you recall last year when Cameron swam from Barbados to St. Lucia, he was still like, it took him forever to get maybe halfway. And
Yeah.
all of a sudden he caught this current, and it was like in no time he was here. And that's because there is a current that comes off the coast of South America. And that current just happens to it goes through like Trinidad and around Tobago, but then for some strange reason, it always comes up because you have Trinidad and Tobago right off the coast.
Uh-huh.
Then you have Grenada. Then you have the Grenadines. Then you have St. Vincent. The Grenadines are part of St. Vincent, so they're one.
Mhm.
And then you have St. Lucia. And the way that current comes up and comes around, it comes right between St. Vincent and St. Lucia.
Got it.
And it's very swift, very swift. So he's going to have to fight against the current to be able to make land in St. Lucia
Ah, okay.
because the current comes from the southeast and heads to the northwest.
Wow. So you have all these islands around you that are perfect for channel swimming in warm water.
In warm water. And we don't have, we have a lot of marine life when it comes to, like, you see leatherback turtles and green-headed turtles, and you know, pilot whales. I mean, Sandra's from Merman Berquist last year, she had pilot whales swimming with her. We've seen dolphins, all different types of dolphins, spotted dolphins, black dolphins. We've seen, of course, the turtles, as I mentioned. We have seen birds just flocking overhead, pelicans, brown pelicans. So we have all sorts of marine life, but we don't see that often are the ones you don't want to see.
Okay. And that shall be unmentioned.
Yes, yes, we're going to keep them unmentioned.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I mean, I know that they, like we do have tiger sharks that are more coastal because the channel is actually between St. Lucia and Martinique. It gets very deep.
Okay.
So, and tiger sharks aren't necessarily into the deep waters,
Yeah.
so you don't find them there. And the north side of St. Lucia doesn't have a lot of. It has more rock than it does. I mean, it has some reef areas, but because the type of island, we are a volcanic island.
Okay.
So, and the volcano is actually in the middle, well, towards the south middle of the island. Um, but you find, and that's where you find more of the reefs.
Got it.
We have more like rocky beds at the northern tip of the island where we would swim. So,
Wow. So if swimmers around the world want to challenge themselves to the channels around St. Lucia, how do they get in contact with you? What is the process?
well, we do have our Facebook and Instagram pages,
Okay.
so which are SLU Channel Swim. They can always come and reach out there. They can reach out. There's a phone number on both of those pages. We are in the process of redeveloping our website. So that right now is in the works, and hopefully by the end of this year we'll be up. It's been a little time consuming. And then they can also just email sluchannelswim@gmail.com.
Got it. Well, thank you very much for this. This is as the channel swimming, marathon swimming, open water swimming community grows, having these new challenges is greatly welcomed. So,
It's I want to emphasize something you were saying earlier. It's like the English Channel. When you think about it, you're swimming from an English. I mean, St. Lucia now has their independence, but they were a British colony. So you're swimming from a British island to a French, who's still, of course, governed by the French. I have to move a little. I have to show you this. Sorry,
okay.
I have to show you this because I don't know if you'll get the
Oh, wow. Yes. And you have the Caribbean sunset.
you have the Caribbean sunset. And we just have these two beautiful, iconic islands. And really, if you look at some of the pictures on our Facebook and Instagram, on the clear days that you can see straight over to Martinique. At night, on those same clear days, you can literally see the headlights from the vehicles traveling.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
So
Well,
it's
thank you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, I was going to say the distance is the same. You just don't have to swim in cold water. You get to swim in warm water instead. I think
Yeah.
that's much easier.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. From all the communities of open water swimming around the world, and you're blossoming into a new destination, and that's greatly appreciated. So thank you very much.
Well, I want to thank you also for recognizing us and giving us a chance to have the opportunity to speak about not only the channel, but let you see a little piece of our beautiful island as well.
Yeah.
I can tell you, I had the opportunity to live in a couple of different islands or locations in the Caribbean due to the type of work I was doing, and this by far has captured my heart.
Great. Wonderful. Thank you very much again.
Well, thank you, Steve. Have a great evening.
You too.